Yesterday marked the 40th year since the first Star Wars movie was released. Back then, nobody knew it was going to be such a huge success. So we decided to make a short video in celebration of this series reaching that great milestone. This video, we're going to focus on the Namco Star Wars that was never released in the US, and then we're going to move on and take a quick look at the JVC Star Wars that was released on the NES and the Sega's Master System. The Namco game is a classic example of Nintendo hard. You only have about 5 lives, and that's it. No continues and no passwords. At least, that's what any normal person would think. Throughout the game, you collect Force Crystals that you can use for special moves. But if you die with more than 30 crystals in your inventory, at the Game Over screen, you can hold up and press A 8 times, and then you will finally unlock the Continue mode. If you ask us, that's a little excessive, but who knows? This game barely follows the storyline of the movie, and that is apparent during your first boss battle with Darth Vader. After a few hits, he explodes into a scorpion. Now, that might sound like heresy, but there is a good game here. If you take the time to develop your skills, you will find some enjoyment. To us, it's worth playing just to find how crazy the story is. The JVC Star Wars for the NES follows the movie and is more of a classic. I grew up with this game, and it's extremely hard as well, but it's not as unforgiving as the Namco version. You start with 3 lives and you have about 10 continues. You're not stuck with that short-range lightsaber. Instead, you start the game with a blaster, and it's a better game for it. Like the Namco version, this has side-scrolling stages and shoot-'em-up stages that switch up the flow. The game is fairly dark and holds some great pixel art that captures the look and feel of the film, but when compared to the Sega Master System, it falls flat. The Master System version was released a whole 2 years after the NES counterpart, and man, does it show. The NES background seemed to just use one color, while the Master System switches it up and has multiple colors. The sprites are bigger in Sega's version, so they come off more detailed, and probably stands as the system's best looking game. Now, we know that the NES also had The Empire Strikes Back, and there are so many more Star Wars games out there that we could talk about, and we would love to go into more detail, and hell, maybe someday we will. But for today, we just wanted to make a quick video celebrating 40 years of the first Star Wars movie. So thank you for watching. We recently released the official podcast for this channel on iTunes. If you want to listen to it, all you have to do is search for Through the Gamevine in your iTunes store and then subscribe. We plan on doing this either weekly or bi-weekly, so feel free to email us some questions to our email address, which is throughthegamevine@gmail.com. Thank you, and remember, you heard it here, Through the Gamevine.